One of the main applications of radian measure that we're at this point going to be able to do in class has everything to do with arc length and eventually area of a sector. Those are the two applications we're going to be using today. When we're talking about arc length, we're talking about on a circle, if you were to cut like a pizza slice out of it, the arc length is the crust of that pizza. We are just trying to see how much of the circumference of the circle is subended or included in a particular amount of interior or central angle. That's an arc length. The formula for arc length, which unfortunately for us, because it's not that clear, S represents arc length, even though arc and length do not have S in them at all. S is arc length. The formula is very simple. It is just the radius of the circle times the angle for the central angle. The only caveat to this is that the angle theta must be measured in radians, not degrees. That's the only caveat. So if you're given an angle measurement in radians, easy, you plug it in. If you're given an angle measurement in degrees, not so easy, we convert to radians first and then we plug it in. So let's just look at a real world scenario first. It says a circle has a radius of 18.20 centimeters. We're going to find the length of the arc intercepted by a central angle having first 3 pi over 8 as the angle. So since the only thing I need for arc length is a radius, check, and an angle, check, I can just plug all of this in. The only reason that this is I'm not even going to use the word difficult, but the only reason this has any oomph to it is that when you are given your answer, you are sometimes going to want to give your answer in terms of pi and then sometimes as a rounded decimal. And so for each question we do today, we're going to do both in our notes. For all of the practice problems you do, it will tell you how it wants the answer, either in terms of pi or an exact answer or as a rounded decimal. So all we would do here is without pressing the pi button, we are going to multiply in our calculator 18.2 times 3 divided by 8. And for this one, let's go ahead and leave it as a decimal. We get that the arc length, when we do 18.2 times 3 divided by 8, we should get 6.825 pi. Is that what you guys got? But now to actually answer the question, because how annoying would it be if you asked somebody, hey, how long is that arc? And they answered you with a pi in it. And you're like, okay, how long is it though? So now I want you to convert that answer by pressing the pi button, and we're going to round to 2 decimals today. Yeah, 21.44 centimeters, which is a way more manageable way to actually answer a question for somebody in real life. But I know that the way the questions are asked in the practice problems you do today and on your homework may ask for an exact answer, which is here. An exact answer or an answer in terms of pi, or then we have the rounded estimate. And for this one, it will always tell you how many decimals it wants to be rounded. And it's different for each question, so just pay attention to it, how it wants it to be rounded. Questions, comments, concerns? Yes. I, in my calculator, did 6.825 times pi, and we have to use the pi button. Don't type in 3.14. It will give you an answer, just might not be as accurate as using the pi button. If we look at the second part, we're going to keep the same circle, so it still has a radius of 18.2. However, this time we're using an angle measurement of 144 degrees. Problem, it says degrees. We have to use what in this formula? Radians. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch 144 degrees into radians. What's that conversion factor we learned last class, converting from radian to degree?
Degrees to radian is
pi over 180, because you want there to be a pi here. Now again, we're not going to use the pi button because we want an accurate angle. So all you would do is 144 divided by 180 and reduce that fraction. You should get 4 over 5 out of your calculator, which means this is 4 pi over 5. Now we have the correct angle. It's the same angle, just measured in radians.
You should get 0.8 for this.
0.8, which is 4 over 5, yeah. Because we want it in fraction form for radians measures. It's just usually how it's written. Now that we have it in radians, we can find arc length. So this is when we do the 18.20 multiplied by the angle in radians. And again, let's write it in terms of pi as an exact answer, and then we'll use the pi button. So do 18.20 times 4 divided by 5. (14.56 pi centimeters). That's the exact answer. And then if it asks you to round that answer, you would multiply 14.56 times the pi button, which will give you 45.74 centimeters. Does that make sense to everybody? Great. Here's the deal though, is because this represents something that has real applicable things in real life, you're gonna mostly see word problems when we're working with arc length. Here's what a word problem might look like. And I know you're gonna wanna probably write down some of this information. You just need to write down the important things. It says, a rope is being wound around a drum with a radius of 0.8725 feet. How much rope will be wound around the drum if the drum is rotated through an angle of 39.72 degrees? First of all, what's happening here? So when we're talking about a drum, we're talking about like a pulley, for lack of a better word. Here's the drum. Okay, it's like a cylindrical drum, and the rope is being like wrapped around it like this. You get it? And so you're like wrapping it up. Now, what we know here is that the radius of that drum is 0.8725 feet. We also want to know how much of that rope is actually being wound around the drum if we have turned the drum 39.72 degrees, which means we are trying to figure out how much of the pizza pie crust has been traveled, has been moved. That's arc length. All we need for arc length is a radius, check, and an angle, check, sort of. Why did I say check, sort of? We need it to be in radians. Nice. So the first thing we're going to do again is we're going to get our angle 39.72 degrees, and we're going to multiply it by that conversion factor. And because I'm annoying, I want it in fraction form. So you're going to do 39.72 divided by 180 and give it to me as a fraction. And even though the fraction looks wild, we want an accurate number that we're using. So we divide it, yeah. We should get 331 pi over 1500. Is that what you guys got?
I got 0.2.
Probably because you didn't put it in a, what's it called, fraction yet. What am I even doing here? Erase.
I didn't put it in fraction.
Okay, so we have our angle this time in radians. We know our radius of the drum that is winding up this rope. So then all we have to do to find the arc length, which is how much rope has been wound around the drum, is multiply these two things together. 0.8725 feet multiplied by 331 pi over 1500. This time we can bypass the exact answer and go straight to the rounded decimal, and I would like it rounded to 4 decimal places. So if you in your calculator do 0.8725 multiplied by 331 pi divided by 1500, notice I have parentheses around the radian. If you are not using a fancy fraction to type that in, you're going to need to use parentheses. In fact, you really should put parentheses around your fancy fraction anyways.
I got 0.19. You got 0.6?
That's more like it, 0.6049 feet. Let's say that we have 2 gears that are adjusted so that the smaller gear drives the larger one. The smaller gear has a radius of 2.5 centimeters and the larger gear has a radius of 4.8 centimeters. If the smaller gear rotates through an angle of 225 degrees, through how many degrees will the larger gear rotate? Okay, so when we're talking about gears, we're like straight up talking about those circles with teeth in them. You know what I'm talking about? That as they turn, they like interlock with each other as they go around. So the thing that we need to understand to answer this question, and you are not allowed to laugh at my drawing of this. If we have a smaller gear and then we have a larger gear, okay, they are interlocked together where they meet. The teeth are going to interlock together, which means the amount of arc length that the small guy moves will be the exact same, because they're locked together, that the big guy moves. It's just that because the big guy's bigger, the angle will be different that it moves versus the small one moves. That make sense? So let's just draw a little bit more info on this terrible looking gear that I just drew. We said the smaller gear has a radius of 2.5 centimeters. Okay, and the larger gear has a radius of 4.8 centimeters. The smaller gear rotates through an angle of 225 degrees. So we're going to say the angle for the small guy is 225 degrees, which I automatically know we're going to change to what? Radians. So let's just go ahead and do that. Pi over 180. So 225 degrees divided by 180, which also, if you wanted to see, that is one of the special right triangle angles on your unit circles. You could also answer this question that way. 5 pi over 4. Okay, so we know that the angle the small guy moves is 5 pi over 4. We know the radius of the small guy, so what can I find out? I have the radius already. What can we find when we have radius and theta? The arc length. So I'm already ready to find the arc length, which is simply just doing the radius, 2.5 centimeters, multiplied by theta. We're going to leave this one in terms of pi because this is an intermediate step. And because it's an intermediate step, I don't want to round it now and then use a rounded number later, because then my numbers are inaccurate. So if we do 2.5 times 5 divided by 4 and leave it in terms of pi, you should get 25 pi over 8. Yes?
Exactly 125.
Huh?
Exactly 125. That's fine.
Change it to a fraction. Change it to a fraction.
How do I do that?
The math, and then the first option says change to fraction.
Oh, so 25 over 8?
Mm-hmm. So now that we have the arc length is going to be the same for both the small and the large gear. So we can like set aside the small gear for a second and refill out the formula for arc length given what we know about the large gear. What do we know about the large gear? And what else have we just found out about the large gear? Arc length. So instead of saying S equal to R times theta and filling in R and theta, we can fill in S equal to R, which is 4.8, times theta, which means theta becomes the thing I do not know. Theta is what I can solve for. How do you get the theta by itself? Divide by? Great, so 25 over 8 is already in your calculator probably. Divide it by 4.8, because we're going to leave it in terms of pi still. Fraction, please. 125 pi over 192 would be the angle that the large gear is moving when it's moving the same arc length distance, which makes sense because, again, the teeth are locked together. So the angle of this big one is 125 pi over 192, but if you answered that, you're wrong because it doesn't answer the question. If we read the last little bit again, it says, through how many degrees will the larger gear rotate? So what is the last thing we have to do before we can finish this question? Convert it to what? Degrees. What's the conversion factor to convert radians to degrees? Times 180 and cancel out the pi's, right? Because it's 180 over pi. Which is why we wanted to leave it in terms of pi, because now I don't even have to press the pi button at all, because the pi's are going to cancel each other out. We would do 125 times 180 divided by 192.
You want decimal? Fraction.
Let's go fraction first, then we'll answer finally with decimal.
117.18.
Okay, yes, but the fraction version would be 1875 over 16, which does give us 117.1875 degrees. We'll just round it to 4 decimals. So the reason I brought this kind of question up for you is because sometimes it takes more than one problem to answer the question. And additionally, you may have done all of the math correct. Make sure you know how it wants the answer given back to the reader. This one wanted it in degrees, so we had to convert from radians to degrees right at the end. Sound good? Okay, the last application of radians is called the sector area. So again, let's think about that circle that I kind of sketched at the beginning of class, and it's a pizza slice, right? When we're talking about sector area, we're literally talking about the area of the pizza slice. So arc length was the crust, sector is the pizza slice. If we're finding the area of a pizza slice, the formula is area equal to r squared times theta divided by 2. Again, theta must be in radians. So if you're ever given a degree, convert to radians first, then you can use it. Because I taught this lesson on last Friday and I answered this question a lot, if it gives you, in the problem, if it gives you a diameter, how do you get the radius? Divide by 2. Okay, cool. It's like one of those things that we were like, oh yeah, duh, we remember that now. Okay, so we just have one application. This is the last example for the day. It says, a center pivot irrigation system, which is a really fancy name for a sprinkler, one of the ones that's like, you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Provides water to a sector-shaped field with an angle of 15 degrees and a distance of 321 meters, which is really far. It's a crazy sprinkler, whatever. Find the area of the field watered by the sprinkler. This must be a farm and ranch style, like irrigating your crops sort of situation, not like playing in the front yard sprinkler. But here's what we were given. We were told that the angle that this is using is 15 degrees. Now, if this is my sprinkler, right? Okay, it's just gonna look like a flag because I can't draw anything any better. This is my sprinkler, so it's gonna like shoot out water in like a this sort of shape, yeah? The radius, not radius, hello, the angle that it's using is 15 degrees that it's going back and forth between. It also says the distance it covers is 321 meters. This 321 is actually the radius of our circle, because if we finish this full circle, do you see how from the sprinkler it's acting as a radius to the edge of the circle? Okay, great. So I have theta, I have r, which means I have everything I need to just plug into this formula. What's the only problem with this right here? It's in degrees, so we have to convert it to radian first. So we're going to multiply by pi over 180. 15 divided by 180 is 1/12, so this is pi over 12. And so we can plug all of that into the calculator. We would say the area of this sector would be the radius, 321 squared, multiplied by the angle, pi over 12, divided by 2. I highly recommend for this one that we use the fancy fraction on the calculator so that we actually get it to multiply and divide the things that we're wanting. I would like this one as an exact answer, which means in terms of pi with a fraction, and then as the decimal. So we will, in our calculator, do 321 squared times 1 over 12 divided by 2, so that we can leave it in terms of pi. For the exact answer, we should have gotten 34,347 pi over 8, which then in exact form is 13,488.04 square inches. So again, these formulas that I've given you, the really only trick that can happen is if the angle is given to you in degrees, so that you give the answer after converting it to radians. Make sense?